next guests are the creators and hosts of the We Live Here podcast on NPR that explores the issues surrounding race, class, and power in St. Louis. Help me in welcoming Kameel Stanley and Tim Lloyd. Guys, we're going to have a pretty serious discussion here, but you guys were enjoying backstage. You guys bring a little...
I brought my flask.
You brought your flask with you. I saw Kameel backstage enjoying a little flask action. What do you got in there?
4 roses.
4 roses, that's some serious stuff, Kameel. That's some good stuff, yeah. Serious bourbon. All right, well, we're getting loose. We're going to talk about, first I want to ask you guys, this is a extremely engaging podcast that you guys are doing.
Thank
you. Going into it, I've heard a lot of the episodes. Was there anything that you guys expected going into it that maybe you found was not true or just surprising to you?
Well, I'm totally new to radio and podcasting, so I used to be a newspaper reporter, so I think just realizing how we sound and how I sound is kind of
So
weird.
just like the actual like sound of your voice.
Yes,
The most surprising
and also
thing.
like I found out that I say right a lot.
Right.
And right.
We have like a whole like a outtake file that we've kept
like bloopers.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of those.
We spend a lot of time in the studio together.
Yeah. You have an office together, right? So it's just basically the two of you.
Yeah, we do have an office together.
But it's been okay so far?
So far, so good.
All right, so far, so good. Okay, Tim, anything that you found that has surprised you thus far in the podcast?
I've been doing this for about a year and a half. This show's been on. We're in our second season now, and I think the most surprising thing is that, a newspaper reporter from Florida could just do as good of a job as Kameel is doing right now.
Kameel. Did you know he was going to say that? That's so nice. Well, I want to get into one of the podcasts you guys just did. You looked at suspensions in the city in the most recent episode, in particular African-American children. I was an after-school teacher in the Carondelet neighborhood at Lion Blow School, and we saw a lot of that. Do you feel like there was a solution, or there is a solution? Did you really truly feel like we're working towards one, or do you feel like this is just a systemic thing that's going to keep going?
Well, I mean, actually, a day after we dropped that podcast, St. Louis decided that next year it's going to ban out-of-school suspensions for early grades, so like kindergartners, first graders, second graders.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think the numbers are pretty striking. I mean, we spent months after getting a bunch of data from the state, and all that data we were able to obtain boiled down to this startling fact that African American children make up 17% of the state's kindergarten through third grade student population, yet they received 70% of the out-of-school suspensions in the state last school year. But
like you said, now this dropped, and there's already like noticeable changes, which is amazing.
There is, and I mean St. Louis now with the superintendent making that move. He's only one in a handful across the country that are moving toward banning this.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, I saw kids like went through that system, and you would just lose them, and they were out of school, and you can't reach them. So I think that's great. Well, I want to just ask, since Ferguson, a conversation has started, and your show is continuing that. Do you feel like the conversation is heading in the right direction here in St. Louis?
I think people are talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I think when you get that, we're actually working on a show right now looking at state policy with our state policy reporter, Jason Rosenbaum. He covers a lot of politics for us at St. Louis Public Radio, about what sort of the policy response has been at the state level between 2 years ago and today, and really not a lot of policy differences at the state level.
Right.
But I do think people are more aware of racial disparities in the St. Louis region. Not really a fun topic.
At least, it's not the most fun topic. But at least maybe it's getting out there. People are starting to recognize that this is an issue, and we can have these discussions and work towards a difference.
And I think what we try to do on our show, because clearly it's I'm black and he's white.
No, get out.
So we kind of like I think subconsciously are trying to be like a model. Like you can do this. You can talk across.
You can work together. We can work together.
We can talk to these really difficult topics, and it can be done, and we can laugh and have fun with it, but also be super serious. And
of course. Yeah, and that's what you guys are doing. It is an awesome podcast. You have to check it out, the We Live Here podcast on NPR. So you can find it on the NPR website.
Yeah, you can find it NPR, NPR One, which is their streaming app, iTunes, anywhere you get your podcast.
Everywhere, and it is awesome. Please watch it. So give it up one more time for Kameel Stanley and Tim Lloyd. We Live Here. Thank you guys.